Well, hello, welcome back to Brambleberry. This is the second part of our videos on rural internet options. This video I'm going to focus on the antennas for our cellular router, so I hope you find it helpful. And one other clarification on this video. I talk about antenna types in this video, and when I recorded it, I was a little mistaken on the names, and both of these antennas are MIMO antennas, M-I-M-O, which stands for multiple input, multiple output. And at first I was under the impression that that is what the panel type of it was called, and that the Yagi was just a Yagi antenna, but they actually do the same thing. The style of the antenna is just different, and how it receives a signal is different. So, but they're both MIMO antennas, just so you know. So when I say that in there, yeah, I didn't know what I was talking about at the time, but you're going to know now because I'm inserting this little video in here. And the main thing to know is that there's a panel type antenna and there's the Yagi style antenna, and they both work a little bit differently. And I think it'll be clear whenever you see it in the video. So sorry about that. Just a little bit of a clarification before we get started. We've been going through a company that has been really awesome, and so I want to give them props. And full disclosure, I have talked to them about possibly doing some sort of, whatever program that they, like an advertisement program with them, but I have not done anything with them yet. I just told them I was going to be making a video, mainly because I really have appreciated their help. Their customer service has been awesome, and I just want to give them props. So the company's name is Waveform, and you can find their products on Amazon, or they have their own website, of course, that you can order through. Over the past few months trying to get this all set up, they have actually sent me a different type of antenna to try and figure out if it would work better than the version that I had. So they've been super helpful in experimenting and helping me experiment to try and figure out what antenna is going to work best for our application. And that really is what you if you get one and it doesn't meet your expectations, that's what you need to do, is experiment with it. You have to experiment with the placement, the direction, and the angle and all kinds of stuff to try and get the best connection that you can. As I said, they sent me another antenna to work with, and free of charge, just to try out, and then I'm supposed to send back whichever one didn't work. And I don't know if they would do that for everyone, but they do have awesome customer service, so that might be a thing if you do have issues. As far as the customer service goes, they have a number that you can text them and someone will respond, usually within, not usually, it's always within the day. They do have hours, that they won't respond, but it just gives you a message saying they'll respond when they get back. And usually the next day I text them at all hours of the night because of my schedule being the way it is, and then they'll have someone get back to me the next day. They've been very helpful in helping me locate where my towers are in the area and give me pointers onto how to angle the antenna, what direction to point it, all of those things. And so super helpful. I highly recommend them if you are trying to set up a cellular router and you need an external antenna. So all that being said, like I said, this is a lot of talking in this video, but hopefully it's information that's helpful to you. And I'm gonna do some experimenting today and see if I can get a better signal than what we already have with our new SIM card. So that particular antenna that I have hooked up now is called a MIMO antenna, and they have one like ours that has 2 connections, and they also have one that has 4 if you have the larger router that you've bought. Now, according to the things I read, that particular antenna works better when there's obstructions around. And so that's why I initially bought that one. That's the one I got to begin with. because we do have a bunch of trees around and hills and that sort of stuff. And so I thought that would be better for our situation. However, waveform specialists that I've been talking to wanted me to try their other form of their antenna for this application. And it's a log periodic antenna. And I will show you that now so you can see what it looks like. So the log periodic is actually two antennas. Each one has, the other one, it has them combined. This has them two separated. And so you would hook them up and you'd angle them a certain way. There's a certain way you have to do that. And that's all in the instructions. This set of antennas apparently is better for more long range. So like if you're, like we are, like way out and you need to reach out further to pick up a signal, they're better for that. But you have to dial them in a little bit better than the other one because they do reach out further. It's like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like more precise, I guess, in trying to pick up the signal from the tower. So that's when you would use those. So I've played with both of them. Both of them have worked for us out here, but I don't know what's going to work with the AT&T now that I've switched over to the AT&T SIM card versus the T-Mobile. So that's what I have to play with now. And I have to figure out which tower. So we have 3 towers in our particular area that we're kind of like in the middle of. Some of them are closer than others. The fact that it's closer or further away doesn't always matter so much depending on the antenna you have. I'm finding that what matters more in our situation is the traffic. Like we can connect to all 3 of the towers, but if one of them is a really high traffic tower, then it's hard for us to get a decent connection. So that's what the struggle has been for us. So I've already tested the results from the different SIM cards, the T-Mobile versus the AT&T in our area, and the AT&T is better for us. And it just depends on your area, like I said. But so I'm going to stick with that for my testing today. I thought about maybe like trying both and showing you results, but it's going to depend on you, on your area, whether one works better than the other. So that's not really useful information, I think, for you. So I'm going to try now to get a connection on different towers with the antenna that I have up now and test the results. And then I think I'm going to switch over to the other one and test those results. So the tower that we're connected to right now is one of the ones that's further away from us. And as you can see, the speeds are not good as of now. They've been better. It's been popping up as much as like 10 download and 3 or 4 upload. Sometimes 11 upload or download, not upload. And so that, if I can get those speeds, that would be awesome. It seems like though, like right now, it's a Saturday during the day. There's probably more people on right now. So that's why the speeds are dropping down so low. So I want to try and get to a tower that's closer now with our AT&T SIM card and see if it works any better. So that was the MIMO antenna, the panel one, aimed at a tower that is closest to us. And as you can see, is a huge difference in speeds there. And you may look at that and go, oh, that's not very fast if you're used to doing like a cable modem. But I look at that and go, wow, that's awesome. Because that's, at this time of day, that's way better than what we have been getting out here, and totally something that we can work with. So that's with that antenna. I do still want to try the log periodic and see if that gets any better, because whichever one ends up being the best here, that's the one I'm going to keep, and I'm going to send back the other antenna to Waveform. And once again, much props to them for helping me in this whole process and being willing to send me an antenna, without me having to pay for it, and they've been very patient in me waiting for a SIM card through all this. I've had their antenna for a few months now through this whole process. So props to them. We're gonna try it out and see how it works. So that was my initial set of the log periodic, and as you can see, the speeds are a little bit slower on that one. That could be for lots of reasons. It could just be how I have them aimed, so I'm gonna adjust them a little bit and see if that helps get a better speed out of them. These are particularly, from my experience anyway, particularly finicky when it comes to aiming them the correct direction, just because they are more like a fine-tuned antenna. So I think I got that dialed in pretty much the direction it needs to go. And as you can see, it looks like it's probably not doing as well as the MIMO antenna was in this particular application. But I'm also realizing when I used the MIMO earlier, I don't think I had that aimed quite the right way. So I don't know if it matters as much with that one, but I'm going to put that one back up and try it again and get it aimed more the direction that I think it needs to go. All right, so that was back with the MIMO antenna, and as you can see, the download speeds are way better with that. We're probably going to end up sticking with that in this particular application, but I just wanted to kind of show you the results I was getting there, and the differences, depending how you aim it, it makes a huge difference. There's also things like shielding that you have to consider. Like, one of the things that they talked to me about was, putting it just below the roof line of your house. I tried that. In our particular case, it didn't seem to help much. It seemed like it was better to get up higher. I think just because we've got, hills around us, and up higher it was getting a better signal. But sometimes the shielding behind the antenna will help protect it from interference from other towers, so it gets a better connection that way. So it's all things you have to consider. So that's a little bit about the antennas that I'm using for this internet endeavor. But there's another aspect to this, and that's actually getting the antennas aimed properly. And there's some more that you need to look at for that, and it's too much for this video. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned for the next video in the series, because I'm going to talk about some settings in your router and stats and stuff you can look at in your router to help you actually aim your antenna and know if you're improving the signal, other than just like blindly putting it out there and running a speed test and seeing what your results are, which you can do that, but there's a little bit more information that you can look into. So stay tuned for that next video, and hopefully that is helpful to you as well. And I thank you for watching on this one. Have a great day.